Bad money habits that were keeping me broke. I'm Christina. I'm a former shopaholic, and I used to be in $120,000 of student loan debt. I managed to pay that off in a total of 6 years by changing some of these bad money habits. I was one of those classic high earners who was broke. Here's why. Number one is lifestyle creep. When I first started working in my career, I was making more money than I'd ever seen in my whole life, which meant I wanted to treat myself. So I stopped living like a student, moved out on my own in a big city. I started to upgrade the stores that I was shopping at, so suddenly became an Aritzia girly, which is a very expensive habit to keep up with. And I tried to keep up. I charged vacations on my credit card, did all the shit for the photo, because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. Photo. So instead of doing things like living as cheaply as I possibly could to pay off my student loan or even starting to learn to save and invest, I spent every dollar of that disposable income on my lifestyle, which left me with a lot of nice looking things, but no actual money of my own.
Money in the bank. No money in the bank. You know, people often assume that a raise will allow them to save more money. But study shows that most individuals spend 50 to 80% of every raise on upgrading their lifestyle. That's the new gadget, the vacation, or dining out. And in fact, research also reveals that your neighborhood spending habits influence your own. A psychology quirk of lifestyle inflation is, I earn it, I finally deserve. And generally, cars is pretty much the first site of lifestyle inflation. If you resist lifestyle inflation and instead invest $500 per month, you will have over $1 million in 30 years. Guys, the cost of lifestyle inflation is essential for your future wealth.
You don't need to buy a house. I bought my first house when I was 25 years old, and it was one of the worst financial decisions I've ever made. I wasn't ready, but I thought that, okay, I need to buy a house. That is that goal.
The American goal.
Strive for. And when you get it, you're super killing it, and good for you, you're amazing. And what people don't tell you is that owning a home is expensive. It may actually depreciate, and fixing all the shit that breaks is expensive.
The American dream. I need to own a home right now, right away. Guys, I would say, pretty decently informed about the world of finance, and let me tell you, I'm still renting. Because the financial proposition for me right now to own is not advantageous. There is a rule that I like to follow that is referred to as the 7% rule. And what does that mean is you're looking at the value of the house that you may be looking to buy, and you're going to multiply this by 7%, so 0.07, and you divide it by 12. If the amount that you're seeing is higher than what you could rent it out, then the financial proposition is not there. I'm just giving you an example. Let's take the household median, or more or less $450,000. That means that if the number is $2,625, if you're able in that location to rent that house for less than $2,625, you would be better renting. Yes, because you have to account for taxes, for HOA, for maintenance, for appreciation of the assets, which often does not track higher than the S&P 500. So on the S&P 500, on average, it takes you about 7 years to double your money. Yes, real estate can be a wise investment, but don't just too fast to it, or you may end up house poor, and we don't want that.
Here are the 2 worst financial mistakes I ever made. And this is coming from a normal person. I'm not super financially successful, but I'm also not a disconnected rich person who's gonna tell you, well, after I sold my 6th property, then I didn't quite get the return on the 7th property. No, it's nothing like that. Number 1, sports gambling. Don't do it.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Here are some fun facts about sports gambling. The Super Bowl is the most bet sporting event in America, and it generates over $7 billion of bet every year. Billy Walters, one of the most successful sports bettor in history, reported won a top of $3.5 million into the Super Bowl, where the New Orleans beat the Indianapolis Colts. This is crazy. And finally, the NCAA basketball tournament, aka March Madness, which is coming up very soon, sees millions of Americans filling out their brackets. But what are the odds of the perfect bracket? 1 in 9.4 quintillion.
My story with gambling was when I first started gambling on sports, I went up $7,000 within the first 4 months, right? The needle was in me, okay? I was like, oh, I could probably never work again. I could just do this full time, blah, blah, blah. Going insane, okay? Probably within a month or two of gaining that $7,000. I had lost all of it, and then also down an additional $1,000.
That's what happens.
Ever since
they
that
get you on the first one,
all I did was lose. I
and
would
then
win a little bit, and then
it
I would
goes
lose
down.
twice that amount. Until eventually I lost $12,000.
There you
So
go.
it's like alcohol. The second thing is another form of gambling, the stock market. And I'm not telling people not to invest in the stock market. You should absolutely, if you're able to, put money into the stock market. But don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to become a day trader.
He dropped it! The day trader. Guys, I have some fun facts here about it. Actually, 80 to 90% of day traders lose money. That's it. 1% do actually win on a consistent basis. In 2019, a reveal showed that holding the bag would outperform most day traders over a 5-year period. And it was a story that took place in Brazil, where over 19,000 day traders, only 3% make profit and only 0.4% make more than the local minimum wage. Come on, guys. And what you also have to think of is that because you're trading at such a high frequency, and generally if you have less than $25,000 on your account, they will not allow you to go forward with it, but you're also being taxed at the highest rate, 37%, because you're being taxed on what is referred to as short-term capital gain. Generally, you want to go and bypass that by holding the stock for at least 1 year. Another fun fact, active day traders, they spend between 8 to 10 hours a day working on their strategy, and most of the trades are actually taking place within the first 15-30 minutes of the day trade, and then that's it. Don't engage yourself in this activity. You're gonna lose a crazy amount of money, and like many and the statistics speak, you're not gonna outbeat the market.
Dogecoin Millionaire, we did a 1-hour podcast, and the second half of that podcast was just trying to convince him to sell. This is someone who's making 50 grand a year, and he sold everything he had, maxed out his credit cards, and put 150 or 200 grand in Dogecoin. And at the peak, it was worth $3 million.
Yeah.
And we broke it down. I'm like, dude, you will never have to work a day in your life after tax. Invest it in here. You pull 3% of it out every single year.
I mean, after tax, he's probably going to be taxed 30%. That's still $2 million in the pocket. If you withdraw 3% a year, that's $60,000. I mean,
It's
not
your
bad.
salary.
The guy was living in a
Made
shed.
your salary for life. If you just sell right now, why take the risk? And so, he didn't sell.
It was fun, guys, during the Dogecoin era when a single tweet of Elon Musk sent the rock to skyrocket. In 2021, he tweeted, "Doge barking at the moon," and it caused the Dogecoin to surge 600% in a matter of days. But let's be fully transparent. Research at Cambridge University showed that only 1% of meme coin investors consistently make profit. In fact, 80% over the long term are going to be losing money. Why? Because you want to get in. You want to get in, you have FOMO, and generally what happens is when you hear about it, it's already too late. And recently, as many of you know, there was a massive scam in the world of meme coin with the Hawk Tua, the Tua coin. Well, it's not the Hawk Tua, it's the Broke Tua. Gosh! Don't partake in it, it's crap. Just stay on blue chip. I recommend about 10% of your portfolio investing into crypto. I personally like, no financial advice, 7% on BTC, 3% on ETH. You're partaking in the market, but you're not putting yourself in too much risks.
I have a lot of money in my 401k.
Okay, I'm sorry for you.
Why do you feel sorry for me? It's a way to put money in without paying taxes on it.
It's a way for you to be trapped for 30 years.
Oh, I'm going to take a controversial take here. So, do I like 401ks? Yes, but only till the match. Yes, it's a strong retirement tool, but personally, this is the flow that I would recommend. First, you always put money into your 401k to 100% of the match. This is correct. Second, you want to max out your Roth IRA, and if you're making an income higher than the threshold at which you cannot, you can always do with a backdoor Roth IRA. The remaining amount of money, to my eyes, should be invested into a brokerage account. Why? Because you're going to have more flexibility into it, assuming that you're responsible, not have your money locked out for 40 years, especially if you're starting to contribute early on.
Great news, Faure. I actually got you approved in that 2009 F-250 out there.
F-250?
Only $11.99 a month. What do you say, man?
I don't know. I was kind of planning on moving out soon. What do you think I should do?
I mean, move out, buy a truck. I mean, look, I'm a car salesman, man, but let me give you my honest opinion off the record. How you gonna move your stuff if you don't have a truck, dude?
Oh,
You're so right.
you gotta get the truck before you can move.
Okay,
right?
okay, I gotcha.
Exactly. You got any questions for me though before we wrap this
Wait,
up?
hold on. 28% interest. That's jackpot. $5,000 down.
I mean, the 11.99.
84 months.
That's no problem. I make $3,000 a month, so like
You make dude, you're good.
that's less than half. Like I'm
Not
fine.
even half.
Don't get screwed by those dealers just giving you this is the best deal that we have right now. Guys, in a few seconds, I'm gonna tell you actually where the juice is when it comes to car purchase.
Yeah, and
You're
I don't have the full 5K to put down. You guys take credit card?
Dude, we can put the whole thing on a credit card.
5K. Oh, let's go. I'm gonna be perfect then.
Come
Now,
on, man. We're gonna take care of you.
last question. Does this include a warranty?
So I know we went over that, but the bank's not going to finance the warranty. But honestly, with only a little over 200,000 miles, and you're only financing for 84 months, you don't even need a warranty because this thing's not going to give you any trouble, and then it'll be paid off, and you'll be coming back to me for another one. You know, so I won't even worry about that, dude. You'll be golden, trust me.
Of course, this is definitely humoristic. Guys, if you're in the market to buy a car, I would recommend a 2 to 3 year car that you're looking for, maybe a certified pre-owned. This is going to give you the best advantage because the car is already mostly depreciated from its early years. You're still, for most of the time, in the warranty. On top of that, the car has recent safety.
This is girl math.
Oh,
So I bought
gosh.
this purse for $38, which means it was $30.
Round down, not up. Girl math.
Right.
I spent $200 at one store, but all the other stores we walked into, I didn't buy anything. So when you spread it out, that was good.
You saved money.
I saved because I walked out of Zara not buying.
This is ridiculous.
We went to Sephora, and the lady at the cash said that if I spend $20, then I get 500 points, which is $10 off my next purchase. So I made money.
I bought $20 in scratch tickets and I won $70, so I made $70.
Yeah, you made 70, not 50.
No, because it was cash, so it was free.
Girl math. Let's see what the girl math comes to when the credit card statement comes from your Victoria's Secret purchases at a 30% interest. Who is making those 500 points? Oh, come on, guys. Let's be honest. I mean, this is generally fun. I like it. It's good spirit. But hopefully they're not making their budget like this, because otherwise the math is not gonna math for long.
The biggest money mistake I made in my 20s is pretty embarrassing. A salesperson sold me a whole life insurance policy.
Gosh,
To be
at
honest,
20 years
I did
old,
not do my research.
this is a
I
scam.
believed her when she said it was going to be a really smart way to prepare for retirement.
smart
Ended
way.
up having to liquidate that account for a couple $1,000 loss a few years later.
Surrender.
And looking back now, I really wish someone had told me to just put that money into a Roth IRA.
Life insurance brokers can be the worst. There are really two types of products that I would potentially recommend for life insurance. One is term life insurance, especially if you have kids or people that are gonna be dependent on you if you were to pass away. I'm currently 32 years old and I have term life insurance with Lemonade. They're a pretty good price. For $20, $25 a month, I have about $500,000 if something was to arise to me. That's okay, especially if you're a parent. Second thing is long-term care. I do really enjoy this product. If you're in your 60s, about 70% of people watching that are gonna be over 60, 65, at some point are gonna have to use those form of services. So those are really the two products that I like. My son, when I told him how much money he has left,
Not for long, I make bad financial decisions.
he knows it.